everyone, welcome back to my booktube channel, The Bookkeeper. My name is Beatriz and today I'm filming a book haul. So even though this year I've actually been really good about buying books, I haven't been on any major book buying sprees. It is September and I haven't done a book haul this year, so this is my book haul of 2021, if you want to call it that. It's basically all of the books that I bought this year. And like I said, even though I think I've actually been pretty good, it's, almost the end of the year, and so I have quite a few books to talk about. I'm on the floor right now, and I'm trying to lift this huge stack of books that I have, and then I have another one just like this right next to it. And so since we have a couple of books to talk about, and I don't want this video to be, too long, I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna go in like chronological order from like when I bought these. I just wrote them all down on my laptop, and we're just gonna go in that order. The first book that I'm going to talk about is a book that I actually bought at the Lisbon Book Fair this year, and it's Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. I think this is the last copy that was on the stand that I bought this for that day at least. Maybe they restocked it the next day, but this was the last copy the day that I went. And this book is, has been really talked about on BookTube this year, and my mom has already read this, so it has her seal of approval as well. But it basically follows Amira, and she is, she is babysitting this white girl. It says white child. I just assumed she was a girl, but this white child, and she's at the supermarket and someone sees her, and she's basically accused of kidnapping this kid, and someone tapes the whole thing, and it blows, and the video ends up on the internet, and it sort of is blown. It becomes like viral, and everyone is talking about it, and Amira's boss, I think her name is Alex, she tries to help Amira, but I don't think her intentions are the purest. It talks a lot about performative activism, and I'm just really excited to get to this. It's such a pretty cover with the pink, and you can actually see like the security and the little, it is a girl. See, she's wearing a dress. I mean, that actually doesn't mean anything, but yeah. So I'm assuming it's a girl, and then Amira and the security guard. And yeah, that's the first one. Okay, the second book is a little bit darker, and it's actually My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. And I haven't read this yet. I don't really like when the paperbacks do this little flappy thing, but this actually isn't that bad because the blue matches with the Vanessa, and anyways. But this is about Vanessa, and when she was 15 years old, she had... okay. I did not read the back before starting. Vanessa was 15 years old when she first had sex with her English teacher. Now the teacher, Jacob Strain, has been accused of sexual abuse by other former students, and journalists has asked Vanessa to contribute to a story about him. But no one seems to understand that what Vanessa and Strain had together wasn't abuse. It was love, wasn't it? So this is a really complicated book. I've heard a lot of people talking about how it deals a lot with, obviously, with abuse, with situations where relationships are based on abuses of power, and how, in this case, Vanessa was so young that she didn't even realize that what she was experiencing was actually abuse, and it was in love. And so I think the book has a lot of flashbacks between when Vanessa was 15 and now that she's I'm assuming she's like a grown woman. Yeah, and so it talks about like sex and abuses of power, and I'm really excited to get to it. I've heard it's quite a difficult read, but I'm really excited because it's been quite raved about on BookTube. Then we have The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. This is another book that everyone and their mothers has been talking about it. My mother has also read it, and she also says she really enjoyed it. But this basically, I'm so excited to read this. I'm planning to read this either in October or November. We'll see. I haven't really looked at my October TBR, but if there's too many books already on it, then I'm gonna move this up to November or either December. Either way, I really want to read this year. But this is basically about two twin sisters, and they live in this really small town, and they get separated, or I think one of them runs away. And so I think the story takes place years later when one of them lives in the same community that they grown up with as she lives with a black daughter in the same southern town as she once tried to escape, and the other sister passes as white, and her family and husband and everyone doesn't actually know anything about their identity. And then I think their daughters meet up and their lives sort of intertwine again, and you know, I've heard nothing but amazing things about this, and so I'm really, really excited to get to it. And I love this particular cover. There's like 2 faces on the cover, and there's the other cover that's also like that I've also seen online that has a bunch of colors, but I really personally really enjoy this one. Okay, so I went to the book fair I think 3 times, and the second time I went there, I got the first 2 volumes of Heartstopper, so Heartstopper volume 1 and volume 2, and they're just, I read, like that night, the night that I bought this, I read this in one go. I just sat on my bed and I just read this and I loved it. And then obviously I picked up the second one, and I was so upset that I didn't buy the third one because it wasn't there. And so I was like, you know, I am so obsessed with this story. I really need the third and the fourth one. And so I went out a third time to the book fair and I bought the third and the fourth one. And so I have all of them now. And they're so cute. Look at them. Look at them. They're so cute. I can't. This story, honestly, this story has made me cry. Like the second, which one is it? The second book. Okay, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that hasn't read these, but the one that talks about Nick is, it hit a little too close to home. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, so if anyone hasn't read these or like heard about these, this is about, so it's called Heartstopper, and it's about Nick and Charlie, and Nick is openly gay. No, Charlie, no. Oh my God. Okay. Charlie is openly gay, and he has had a rough time in school about it, and then he meets this guy called Nick, and Nick appears to be straight, but then, there's something else going on because you can see them together on several of the covers. But this is the most, okay, I don't read a lot of graphic novels, just because, like, they're not exactly my thing, but this one was so sweet. Like, I heard so many people talking about how sweet this was and how cute it was, and I had no idea how cute it would actually be. Like, it is so, it's just so heartwarming and so cute and so sweet, and honestly, I want a relationship like this. Like, please. It's so, the way that they're just there for each other, and the way that they understand each other, and how they communicate and how they talk, and their little faces sometimes when she draws them looking at each other. It's so cute. I can't, honestly. I love them. Honestly, I love them. I haven't read the fourth one yet. I'm planning to read it tonight. And I love them. I think this one is like much darker than these 3 volumes. I think one of these started to touch on a little bit of like darker topics. But oh my God, I love them. Okay, look at this. I'm going to read this tonight, and I know I'm going to love it just as much as all of the other ones. Just look at them. Okay, I'm done. This is the Heartstopper Stan account, if you guys haven't noticed. I need to read all of Alice Oseman's other books, because if they're anything like this one is so cute. I can't, honestly. It's so cute. It is so cute. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. We're moving on, because otherwise I won't shut up. So this one I ordered online. I've had it for a while. This, I think I mentioned it in a couple of like videos that I bought a bunch of like the first books of different fantasy series, and now I could read them all, because then I would have started a bunch of fantasy series that I wouldn't, have continued straight away, and then I would just forget. But one of these was Assassins of Printins by Robin Hobb. I'm so excited to read this. I just know I'm going to love this. And so it talks about, it's a kingdom, and there is this, so the crown prince has fathered a bastard son, and his name is Fitz, and he is a spy. And I know that he has this particular type of magic called the wit that allows him to, I think, talk to animals, and he has some kind of ability to be closer and have a closer relationship with animals. And I know that this type of magic is seen as a particularly bad thing, and people are shamed for it. I think they're even killed for it. And so eventually he is actually introduced into the royal household, and he becomes sort of their spy, court assassin type of thing. And you know, everyone just raves on and on about this series, about Robin Hobb in general. I'm really excited to read her books. When this got here, I was so surprised because this is the first book in the fantasy series. 392 pages. That is not something you see often. But anyways, I'm really excited to read this. I'm excited to get... Wow, did you see my back posture there? Okay, I really need to sit straight. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to this. Again, the cover is so pretty. It's like... I'm a bit iffy with cracking the spine on my books. I'm trying to work on it, but this one, I don't even mind if it gets all tattered and broken spined, honestly, because it gives such an old vibe already that, you know, pretty. Oh, it was blurred by George R. R. Martin. In today's crowded fantasy market, Robin Hobb's books are like diamonds in a sea of zircons. I don't know what zircons are, but I'm assuming they're not very good. Or, I don't know. Anyways, the other book that I also got was City of Glass. I also am not quite sure what this one is about. In the markets of 18th century Cairo, thieves, tricksters, con artists, and outcasts eke out a living swindling rich nobles and foreign invaders alike. So our main character is called Nari, and she has never believed in magic or any such things. I think she's a little bit of a con woman, to be honest. But then I think she eventually summons some kind of spirit, and she is forced to confront that there's this other side of magic, a more darkly mysterious side of magic. And so she travels to the City of Brass, and then I'm guessing shit goes down. I don't know why, but I'm hoping to read it soon. Maybe not this year, but definitely early that next year. But we'll see. I don't know yet. Winter always gets me. I mean, I was gonna say winter always gets me in a fantasy mood. I'm always in a fantasy mood all year, but but wintertime especially. I think fall and winter are the two seasons where I read the most, like, thematically. I just crave a certain type of book, and I will only read that. I'm a bit of a mood reader, but it gets even more aggravated during like fall, winter time. So maybe this year, who knows? We'll never know. I mean, we will, but just not right now. Anyways, the other book that I got, also the first book in another series, is called The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is the winner of the Hugo Award, and it has been raved about online. I think it is about this world in which there is a fifth season where chaos and destruction and earthquakes and hurricanes, you know, do their thing. Follows different perspectives, and that's all I know about it. That's all I want to know about it, to be honest, because I heard that it's one of those type of books that you just have to go into it knowing as little as you can, because, you know, the story sort of takes you along, and it's just more interesting if you don't know anything about it. But yeah, it is a trilogy, and I'm also excited to get to it. Hopefully soon. Okay, so this next book I've actually mentioned a couple of times here on my channel, but I got it recently. It is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I started this book in like end of August, and then I was reading it in September, but I was sort of not really in the right mindset to read it, so I stopped reading it. I'm reading other things now, and I'm hopefully picking up in the winter, because this is like a very wintry book, at least right now. In the part that I was reading there, it's like winter and it's cold, and you know, they keep talking about it, and I just, you know, it's kind of weird for me to read it in September when I'm wearing a t-shirt and it's not cold. But yeah, I'm excited to pick up this during the winter. But again, I'm still really excited to read this. Still a predicted 5-star read. Still, I think is going to be a book that I really, really love. And so yeah, The Shadow of the Gods. Oh, I didn't even talk about what this is. So yeah. So The Shadow of the Gods follows 3 different perspectives. So one of them is a huntress on a dangerous quest. The other one is a noblewoman who is seeking battle fame, and then we have this thrall that is seeking vengeance among a group of mercenaries called the Bloodsworn. This is a world in which there were gods, and they sort of fought themselves and eventually led to their own extinction. But you can still collect little remnants of their power through bones and such. And it has dragons apparently. I'm really excited to read it. Like I said, I have started it, but I haven't finished it, but I'm really excited to get to it, really excited to actually finish it. And yeah, hopefully winter. This is a winter book for sure. See, fantasy with dragons in the winter, this is a winter book. And Norse mythology, which, you know, I'm guessing it's always cold up there, because I've never been, but it's, you know, in Europe, that's the general idea that I get, that it's always cold in that area. But yeah, The Shadow of the Gods. To switch things up a bit, we're actually going to talk about a book that I have read, because I think oh no, I had read the Heartstopper books. Okay. I'm not doing that badly as I thought. But the next book is Felix Ever After by Casey Callahan, and look at those sprayed edges. Isn't that, oh, it's only here. Okay. Isn't that the prettiest thing you've ever seen? I love them so much. Okay, so this talks about Felix, and Felix love. And isn't that an irony, because he's never been in love? That's actually what it says in the back. Even though he's proud of his identity, Felix always secretly fears that he's one marginalization too many, Black, queer, and transgender, to ever get his own happily ever after. Okay, so again, like this says, Felix is Black, queer, and transgender, and this book was really fun at points and then just really annoying at others. And the reason, I think I gave it like 4 stars or 3.75 stars. I did not enjoy Felix's character that much. He was a bit annoying, and I didn't really like him as a character. However, the conversations about identity, about sexuality, about being queer and transgender, and how you're perceived, how people perceive you, how you sort of have to accept yourself, how you don't come out just once, you come out multiple times throughout your life. It was so engaging and so just informative and interesting. And since this is an Own Voices book, I was just so captivated by the conversations that were going on, and it's always really nice, especially to read about topics like people that are transgender, because obviously I'm not in that position, and so reading a book that is written by an author that is transgender, you know, and writing about their own experiences, sort of like projecting that onto Felix, it was just so interesting. I loved, like I said, the conversations around sexuality and identity. I loved it so much, and I think it's such an important read. Again, Felix as a main character, not my favorite. He was a little annoying, a little I don't think arrogant is the right word, but he was, even to his friends, I felt like he could always see faults in everyone, and so I didn't really appreciate that about him. But overall, I really enjoy this book. I recommend it because I think it's a really important book, like I said. But yeah, Felix Ever After, and I love like the cover. Look, it's I think this is the prettiest book that I have in this book haul. So bask in his beauty. Okay. Next book I also got at the Lisbon Book Fair, and it was also the last copy, and that is Love is a Revolution by Renee Watson. So this follows our main character, Nala, and she goes to an open mic event one night, and she meets this guy, Ty Brown. Ty's perfect, except he's an activist, so he's spending his summer putting on all sorts of events for the community, and Nala just kind of wants to, Nala just sort of wants to go to the movies and chill and do her own thing and not really worry about any of that activism stuff. And so she basically lies a little bit to him to impress him in the beginning, but obviously as time goes on, these lies start to catch up with her. And, I think this book is basically, like the book says, that loving yourself is a revolution, and I think that's sort of the journey that Nala goes through loving herself and loving where she comes from and her community, and how self-love is the most type of revolutionary love that you could possibly have. And I'm really excited to read this because we all need a lot of self-love these days, but I also think that it deals with a lot of important topics. I've heard really great things about it. It was also the last copy. Actually, I went with Mafala that day, and Mafala also got the last copy, so these were the last 2 copies there, and then at least for that day there were no others, so also a catch, and it was really cheap because it was at the book fair. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this too. Okay, the next book I'm going to talk about is The Mysterious Pharah Styles by Agatha Christie. I've read this. I've even read it in a reading vlog that I will post. I will put it somewhere up here. But yeah, I was looking for Agatha Christie books to start with. Obviously, there's like the really famous ones, and then there were none, and The Murder on the Orient Express. But me being me, of course, there's a whole list at the back of all the books that she wrote with Poirot, and this was the first one, and I was like, why not start in the beginning? And there was this one in my local bookstore, and I just bought it, and it wasn't the most amazing thriller I've ever read, not by any means, but it was still a nice read. I'm excited to continue on with her books, but this essentially follows Hercule Poirot. He's a Belgian investigator, and he is sort of called to investigate this murder that occurred at a mansion at Styles in England. And yeah, it's very interesting. It makes you feel quite, I'm not going to say dumb, but just, he asks so many questions that seem like they don't have anything to do with anything, and you're just like, why would he want to know that? That's completely irrelevant, and then it becomes really important. And so I don't know, it was just a nice book. It was a nice read, and the cover is nice, and there's a whole like collection of them, and I'm excited to keep reading more of Agatha Christie's books again in October, probably in November, while it's still fall, because fall screams mystery, and that's what this is. Okay, anyways, the other book that I got was Ace of Spades. I was so excited when I saw this in my local bookstore, because like 2 days before, I think I was filming a reading vlog, and I said that I wanted to read Ace of Spades so bad, and I even got it on script, and now I have the actual paperback, and I'm so, wow, the letters are so big. Okay, anyways, I'm so excited for this, because there was someone that compared this to strong Gossip Girl vibes. That's all I need. I don't even need to know the rest of the plot, just that it had strong Gossip Girl vibes. Okay, let me tell you something. I was obsessed. I am. Okay, let's not speak in the past. I am obsessed with Gossip Girl. I watched it the first time when I was in 10th grade, or 9th grade maybe, and I'm obsessed, okay? Queen Bee and Serena. My best friend at the time, her first, her name started with S, and my name is a B, so we would call each other B and S, and are you kidding me? Have you imagined a more perfect scenario? It's so good, okay? Now we're talking about Gossip Girl. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's so dramatic and just problematic at times, but it's so good. Who doesn't love a little toxic drama in their lives sometimes, right? Especially if it comes from a show that's not even real. Anyways, Ace of Spades, again, Gossip Girl vibes. Do I need to know more? No, but anyways, you might need to know more. So, it is a private academy, Gossip Girl, and obviously where money paves the hallways, and the students are never less than perfect, until now, because anonymous texter Aces is bringing 2 students' dark secrets to light. There's talented musician Devon, and then there's head girl Chiamaka. Someone is out to get them both, someone who holds all the aces, and they're planning much more than a high school game. So basically, Aces is Gossip Girl, and Devon and Chiamaka are like everyone else in Gossip Girl that gets written on there. I am so excited about this. Everyone is raving about this, and I'm just, look at them. I'm guessing that's Devon and that's Chiamaka, or the other way around. I can't tell which one is a boy, which one is a girl. Anyways, look at them. I'm so excited. I am so excited about this. This is being read in October, because this also has the Gossip Girl thing, so you have to find out who it is, so it's a mystery, so it counts. It counts for my October vibes. Moving on. How long is this? Guys, this is a long video. I'm sorry. We have to finish it now. Okay, next book I'm going to talk about is In Order to Live. I've also read this. This was a really good book. This is basically a nonfiction book that was written by this young lady right here, and she actually escaped from North Korea when she was 13 years old, and it talks about how she escaped, how her mother escaped, how her sister escaped, everything that happened while she was still in North Korea, everything she remembers, what led to the moment where they actually escaped, what happened, because it actually took her, I think, 3 or 4 years to get from North Korea to South Korea. She was trapped in China. She has lived a lot of difficult, very, unimaginable situations. And it's really crazy because you read this. It's quite a short nonfiction book. It's really interesting. But it's crazy because you read these things that are happening in a world right now. She escaped in 2007. 2007 is not that long ago. I remember 2007 perfectly. I was jamming out to Avril Lavigne and Taylor Swift. And look, this girl was escaping from North Korea. And so it is crazy to think about that these things actually happened in the past that is not far off at all. And I really, really enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 4 stars. The writing was a bit weird of times. And obviously, compared to other memoirs that I have read before, like Educated and Know My Name by Chanel Miller, obviously, I thought those were better written, but this was still such an engaging story. It is very brutal at times, but I think it is such a necessary read, and I would highly recommend it to anyone because it's a really good book. This next book is actually the only book here that I didn't get myself. It was actually gifted to me by my wonderful little brother. And okay, before I show you the book, he is majoring in physics engineering. Okay, so now that you know that, he gave me this book about, it's called Infinite Powers, the Story of Calculus, the Language of the Universe. And he got this because he was actually taking a calculus class, and he said that it really taught him how to think in a new way, and he just thought it was so interesting that he found this book that apparently lays calculus down for dumb humans, and makes it interesting. And so I'm actually really like excited to read this, because obviously I know that it's not going to be super, I was going to say it's not going to be super technical, and I see a log of something here. I don't know, I'm scared now. I'm scared. But obviously I know he like breaks it down really easily, so that like I said, mere humans can understand it. Wow, there's a lot of numbers in here and graphs. I don't know, maybe now I'm scared. I'm really excited to read this. I also saw that it had a bunch of really good reviews online, so there you have it, The Infinite Powers. I'm really excited to get to this. This is another nonfiction book that I've also mentioned on my channel before. I'm also reading this one, making my way through it very slowly, but it's Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. And again, it's a nonfiction book that it goes all the way and talks and discusses about all of the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, and how it changed and shaped humanity, how we've grown over the years, or not so much, how we've evolved. This has been a really interesting read. I'm really excited to keep digesting it and keep reading it. Oh, it's blurbed by Chris Evans. Now you know it's good, because who doesn't like a review by Chris Evans, honestly? And Barack Obama. So you see, Barack Obama and Chris Evans, who else would you need to blurb a book? And Bill Gates, wow. I would recommend Sapiens to anyone who's interested in the history and future of our species. That's Bill Gates. So there you go. Sapiens, read it. We're nearing the end. Okay, this is another book that I also got. It's the first book of another series. I actually read this one, and I had been meaning to for a really long time. It was one of those books that was really talked about on BookTube a couple of years ago, when I first started watching, 4 or 5 years ago, and I finally got to it, and I actually really enjoyed it. And it is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. It basically follows two main characters, Laya, and she is a scholar. There's two types of people. There's scholars, and then there's the soldiers. And Laya is a scholar, and she is a slave. And basically, her life is turned upside down when her family, her closest family that she has to her, is murdered, and her brother is kidnapped. And so she finds herself in a position where she actually has to ask for help of the rebels in order to save her brother. And they have her go on this very dangerous mission, which is infiltrate the military compound where obviously the military is training, and obviously it's very dangerous. And then we have Elias. He is a soldier, but he has he doesn't agree with his people's ways, and he's trying to desert actually. And then obviously they meet, and they obviously have a common goal, and they help each other, and it's really interesting. It's obviously a young adult fantasy story series, so it has some of the best known tropes, but I still really enjoyed it. It was a good time overall. Okay, so these last 3 books are all from the same series, and we can all, guess what it is already, because I've spoken on and on about them this year, but I'm gonna show them like this. So we have Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness. So obviously these are the last 2 books of, these are the last 2 books of the Dark Artifices series. So this is the second one, Lord of Shadows, that I got in the beginning of the year, and then Queen of Air and Darkness I got, I think, in the middle of the summer, somewhere around there. But basically so obviously this is the last of the series, but the first book, Lady Midnight, follows Julian Blackthorne and Emma Carstairs, and they're a pair of Batai. They live in the Los Angeles Institute. They're shadow hunters, and they're basically dealing with the repercussions of the Dark War that occurred, I think it's 5 or 7 years prior, which takes place obviously during the Mortal Instruments books, and so this comes out right after. And It talks about them, trying to live with the repercussions of the war, trying to figure out how to navigate this new world where, new laws are applied. And they're also trying to figure out what actually happened to Emma's parents, who were killed during the war, and they don't know why or who was behind their death. And so they're also trying to figure out what happened there. Again, I've talked about this series at length. I've talked about Cassandra's books even in more length. Ow. But I really enjoy this. I think I enjoyed Queen of Air and Darkness a little more than Lord of Shadows, but they were obviously both great books, both really thick books. But it's always so much fun to come back to Cassandra Clare's world. So yeah, there you have it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally reached the end. We have the last book that I bought this year, and that is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I also got this at the book fair, at the Lisbon Book Fair. And yeah, I'm so excited for this series. I can't even explain to you guys. I still have to read Red Scrolls of Magic before I begin this one, because I'm reading them all in chronological order. And I'm OCD like that, but this, okay, so this follows, so if you haven't read any Shadowhunter books, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but this basically follows Will and Tessa's kids from the Infernal Devices, and I'm so excited because I have read a couple of short stories from the Ghosts of the Shadow Market that are about the characters, like the main characters in this book. And I'm so excited because, first of all, there's such a fun cast, and there's Will and Tessa in it. And then obviously Jem. I'm so excited about this. I want to read this so bad. This focuses on a main character, Cordelia. She's a Carstairs, and she travels to London to encounter her childhood friends, James and Lucy Herondale. And then obviously there's a bunch of problems with demons that come around, and they have to figure out what happens. And I'm just so excited. I'm being very vague on this description because I don't want to know too much about this. I just want to go into it knowing that I'm just going to follow Will and Tessa's kids, and Will and Tessa are going to be in it. That's all I need to know. That's all I want to know about this book, to be honest. But anyways, guys, that is it. We made it through. I'm so happy. I'm sorry if this video ends up being super, super long, but, the book haul needed to be filmed, and now it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will leave all of my links for all my social media on the description below. I have Instagram and Goodreads and Twitter and obviously YouTube, and you can follow me on there if you like. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, or rest of evening or afternoon or morning or whatever it is, in when you're watching this. Click the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!